guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I am really excited for today's video for two reasons. The first reason is, as I'm filming this, we are finishing up our last week of homeschool for this current school year. So if you don't know already, our oldest daughter has already graduated from our homeschool high school and she's in college. Our youngest daughter is just finishing up 7th grade and this is her last full week of school as I'm filming this. By the time you see this, we'll already be on summer break, but that's really exciting. Also, I'm excited because I'm filming this video to try to get ahead a little bit because in about 2 weeks we're going on vacation, so I'm excited about that. So just really fun wrapping up a school year. I really love all the projects and like planning and things I get to do during the summer when we're not doing homeschool. I also like planning for the next homeschool year, so just really exciting time of year for us right now. We are finishing up our 7th grade year. I thought I would share a couple of the things that we have completed in 7th grade. There's some things that like I have carryover where like we started it one school year and then we finished it kind of the next school year, or there's things that we're currently doing right now that we're not going to finish this school year that will carry over into 8th grade. That happens quite a bit, but these are 6 of the things that we have finished that I thought I would share with you guys. I did this video before, so it's kind of a little glimpse into some of the things we've been doing and also little mini reviews. So if you want to see some of the things that we completed in 7th grade, then stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing is the BJU Press Heritage Studies 5. Again, you might notice, and I've talked about this in the last couple of videos, it says 5, she's in 7th grade. Some people might say, well, does that mean she's doing 5th grade history? I don't know, maybe. I know sometimes levels don't necessarily correlate to grades with homeschool curriculum, but also I don't get too caught up on that. History is history. Does it matter a whole lot even if it was a 5th grade history if she's in 7th grade? I don't think so, because I am almost 43 years old and I learned things from her 5th grade history this year. So don't worry too much about that in pretty much most subjects. Now, obviously, you wouldn't want to have a high schooler doing, you know, elementary school math. You would try to like get in there and like figure out something else, kind of what you could do to catch them up. But for the most part, I don't worry a whole lot about that. So she did finish up level 5. She is going to be doing Heritage Studies 6 in 8th grade. You would have seen that if you watched my 8th grade curriculum choices video. That is the first time in a very long while that she's actually going to be doing a more of a world history approach. The last quite a few years have been US history, which I really appreciate. And we are going to come back to that pretty hardcore in high school, but we did want to have a little bit of a break after talking about US history for a couple years and do a little bit more world history. So that's coming up for 8th grade. If you haven't seen my 8th grade curriculum choices video, I will link it for you. Make sure you check that out so you can see everything we're doing. But as always, pretty much everything BJU Press we love. I love their history, we love their English, we love their science. Now I have gotten some questions, especially after that 8th grade video. People were saying like, why are you not doing BJU Press anymore for science and math and English? The short story is there's nothing wrong with it. I still love the curriculum, I still love the company. It's just as time goes on, I am trying to work myself out of a job as a homeschooling teacher. I feel like that is one of my goals, because as my kids get older, they need to be more and more independent. And their English curriculum in particular was more teacher intensive than science and history. Like there's always a teacher's manual, but like I felt like with English especially, there was definitely more work required of me to do that with her. And I am trying to get her to the point where she is getting close to, if not already completely independent, by 9th grade, definitely by 10th grade. I really want her to be completely independent. So that's how we stop that. But with history, it's a lot easier because yes, there is a teacher's manual, and yes, there are kind of questions that I can guide her through and like go through with the reading. But for the most part, I just assign the pages to read, assign the pages in her workbook, and then I grade her work. There's really not much for me to do that I felt like I have to do. Whereas English, I felt like I had to be a little bit more hands-on than I wanted to be at this stage. So that's how we stop that. Nothing wrong with the curriculum, I still love it. But that's why we're continuing on with their history, and we're not doing their English or their science for right now. And I'll get into science in a minute. So we finished that up. Love them. I highly recommend BJU Press. Also for English, speaking of English, one of the books that we finished that we were doing instead of BJU Press's English was Evan Moore Language Fundamentals 5. I just did a video about this. It should have already gone up. It was comparing and contrasting Evan Moore's Language Fundamentals with their grammar and punctuation workbook, and I also talked about it briefly in my 8th grade curriculum choices video. We love Evan Moore. I do feel like I'm getting concerned because we are definitely leveling out on a lot of their things, and I really wish they would extend the ages that they offer workbooks for. But with the language fundamentals, like I said, I found that it really didn't matter that it was grade 5 or level 5. She was learning the same pretty much stuff as she was doing in BGU Press, but it was a little bit less teacher intensive for me. So we finished up level 5. We are going to be doing level 6 for 8th grade. So highly recommend that. Also going along with that was a workbook specifically about commas. She's at the age where I feel like she has a really good grasp on the basic grammar and punctuation fundamentals, which is one reason why I felt like I was able to step back a little bit from BJU Press English to something a little bit less teacher intensive, like language fundamentals and like this commas workbook. Basically, it's a commas workbook, so the entire book is about commas, and I felt like that was a really important one to focus on because commas are one of those things that, and I make mistakes too. So if you ever see me comment to somebody or I write something, sometimes I mess up too. But I feel like commas are one of those things that I feel like when people don't know where a comma goes, they either just don't put one or they put commas everywhere, and they're just comma happy and like comma, 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 comma. So I really wanted to focus in on commas. So we did the Evan Moore Language Fundamentals with the commas workbook. They were a great marriage. We loved that. And we completed that workbook. Very inexpensive, perfect for adding to any grammar curriculum, perfect for doing over the summer. It's just a great little workbook, and we really enjoyed that. And then as part of her language arts curriculum, she does handwriting. We did finish The Good and the Beautiful's level 6. I did purchase level 7 for 8th grade, and I believe that's their last level. So she's done every level of their handwriting curriculum up to this point. It's very basic, very simple. One thing I do like about it is it does incorporate, like, when they're doing their handwriting practice, they're learning Bible verses, they're learning grammar and punctuation rules and states and capitals and all that stuff. So it's bringing those other categories in, which The Good and the Beautiful does very well to do a lot of cross-curricular things. So even though it's a handwriting curriculum, she was learning other things as well. So I really appreciate that. And so we have enjoyed that, and we'll continue to enjoy that until she levels out, which should be in 8th grade. Back to Evan Moore, the Evan Moore Building Spelling Skills level 6. She did finish that. That's another one that we have done all the way from level 1 through level 6. Level 6 is their last level. Unfortunately, I wish they had higher levels. But we've done every level in that program, and I highly recommend that for an open and go traditional spelling curriculum. It is, you get a list at the beginning of the week. They do activities all throughout the week with those words, and then you test on Friday. That's how I learned how to spell, and I feel like that was just we've tried other things over the years, and I just feel like that was the best kind of if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach to spelling. So we've done all those levels. I highly recommend Evan Moore's Building Spelling Skills. We love them. I did have to find something else for 7th grade, which I am excited about, but I do wish that Evan Moore would offer higher levels of things because I would use them, I would use certain things forever until they graduated from a homeschool high school if I could. So I really love that curriculum. And then earlier I mentioned science. We did finish the ACE or ACE Science grade 7. We're doing grade 8 for 8th grade, and I love that curriculum. Again, we love BJU Press for science, but I wanted something a little bit less time intensive on my part and also on her part. I feel like the kids really need to be really strong in math, writing and grammar. Even history, I feel like, comes before science, in my opinion. Not that it's not important, not that we don't do it, but I just wanted to keep it really simple, to the point, completely independent, which the ACE or ACE science curriculum is and has been. And I love it. It's a Christian curriculum. And basically, and you would have seen this again in that 8th grade curriculum choices video, basically they have what they call paces. So each type of science concept is its own pace. And so one book you're learning all about the muscles and the skeletal system. One book you're learning all about erosion and weathering. Another book you might be learning all about bacteria and parasites, things like that. So you're focusing on one topic at a time. There's a test for each pace, so you can make sure your child is like learning what they're supposed to be learning. But it is very, very repetitive and non-flashy. I mean, the books are nice and everything's in color, but if your child gets bored easily and doesn't like a repetitive curriculum, then maybe this wouldn't be a great choice. For us though, it's just fine. There's a reading assignment every day. There's questions and answers. There's another reading assignment. There's questions and answers. Now, sometimes there's different types of things. Like every now and again, they'll have a crossword puzzle. There's a self-test section that you get to before you actually have the test. But it is kind of just predictable, but I appreciate that because it doesn't take a lot of extra time for her to do it. It's really easy for me to grade. I feel like she's retaining a lot, and it's just enough information without being too overwhelming. There are very little to no science experiments, which I appreciate because we've never been a science experiment family around here, and that suits me just fine. My daughter doesn't really care too much if we do experiments or not. So definitely appreciate that about their curriculum, and it is Christian, which is one of those subjects, science is one of those subjects where I feel like I 100% want it to be a Christian curriculum for science. So have loved that curriculum. It's very affordable and has worked great for us. So that's why we're gonna be continuing on with that for grade 8. With level 7 we did finish, and she liked it and I liked it, and it's been a great option for us. So you might wanna check into that. There's very little out there about it. Very little YouTube videos about it. I actually just filmed a flip through of the grade 8 level. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that video out. As far as I know, pretty much all of their science levels are basically the same. We haven't done the younger levels, but we did. We've got their health curriculum, which I showed in a different flip through, I think last year. It's pretty much set up the same. Did the 7th grade, you know, all through 7th grade, and it's pretty much set up exactly the same as 8th grade. Looking ahead, it seems like the next levels that are higher after 8th grade are about the same. So in my little bit of experience that I've had with the company, they are pretty much, you know, what you see in the grade 8 level is about what you're going to get in any level. So if you're interested in that curriculum, possibly definitely check out that video. I'll link it for you. But that's everything. That's pretty much everything I could think of. I'm sure there's things that we finished early on in the year that I'd forgotten about, but these things we pretty much finished right at the tail end of our year. And I thought I would share with you guys with a little bit of mini review, kind of what you can expect for 8th grade. I will also link my homeschooling playlist. Every video I've made in the past 10 years is in that playlist. So there's lots of them if you need more homeschool curriculum choices videos, curriculum reviews, homeschool mom life, homeschool room tours, all that stuff lives in that playlist, so I will link it for you. I will also link all these different resources that I mentioned today in case you want to do a little bit of a more research on your own, a little closer look. I'll link those. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.